Hello, friends, and welcome to the Friendors podcast, a podcast by wedding vendors for wedding vendors. I'm your host, Shawn Miller, owner and founder of Young, Hip, and Married and Professional Wedding Officiants. Each week, I interview my friends from the wedding industry, and we talk about life as a wedding vendor, how they got started, challenges they faced along the way. If you're a vendor, you know we got to throw in a few chaotic stories. Thanks so much for being here, and let's dive into the episode. Erin, welcome to the show. Here we are. Can you believe this?
I know.
How many times have I talked to you that I had this idea of starting a podcast?
It's true. Many times. And now it's reality.
And the name Friendors might be credited to you. Someone said, I think Erin made that name up.
You know what? I would love to take the credit, but it was actually Coco.
Really?
Coco. Yeah. If I recall correctly, it was many years ago. So Coco is Corinne, who was my original first partner in Philosophi. Yeah. And we actually use the term friender in a derogatory way. Right. I was going to say when you have a client and they're like, oh, my friend,
my aunt's going to do my decor.
Or my Uncle Bob's going to be the DJ. Or we're like, oh gosh. But usually it'd be like, my friend is a photographer, so she's going to shoot for us. Right. So it's a vendor and it's a friend, and together, sometimes it's okay. Right. Most of the time it was not good. Right. For many reasons. Not that friends can't be good at what they do, but just the dynamic of not paying someone for their service and what that entails. So it came from there. But I like that we're giving it a positive spin here.
Right. You're a friend
we're
and
vendors.
A vendor. Yes. And our paths may not have crossed if we didn't cross in the wedding industry.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting too, as an officiant, I'm in and out. Yeah. Right. I arrive at the wedding. Who's here? Oh, there's Sachin. There's Erin. Oh, there's Mark from White Table. Whoever it is. But I'm always in hugs. How's it going? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Okay. Go time. That 30 minutes pre-ceremony is always bananas.
Chaotic. Yeah.
And then the ceremony's over, and I'm like, okay, peace out. And the planner's off somewhere.
You're done. That would be when you could maybe take a breath, although you're probably running to another one. Wedding. But we're we got a bunch of stuff to do now.
Flip the room and do this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea of frienders, I think we even have a blog post. It was why you should reconsider hiring frienders on our website. Yeah. Right? Because it can go great. Yeah. But it can also go not awesome.
It's true. Right?
It's difficult. When Uncle Bob is not playing the right music and you're not paying him.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to tell your paid DJ who you only know as your DJ, we need to not do this, we need to do this.
No, but they also have skin in the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? They want to do a good job. They want a positive review. They want the referral, right? So sometimes hiring a friender can work.
That's right.
Sometimes it does not work.
Sometimes, usually not.
Usually
caution against it.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Unless you have a amazing friend who's the top of their game vendor.
Right. Okay, so people that don't know, who are you? What do you do in this space specifically? I know you do a lot. Horses.
A loaded question.
I see we got a horse necklace, we got a horse sweater on, the new love of your life, Baloo, which we could talk about maybe later.
I don't show up anywhere unless we can talk horses for at least 2 minutes.
we can get it. We can squeeze it in.
Okay, so my name's Erin Bishop. I'm a wedding planner. Yeah. And I have a company called Filosophi Events. Yeah. And then I also have a hand in a little sister side company called Side One Entertainment, which is live music options for events.
Yeah, cool. And you also plan Way Up North.
That's right. Yes, Way Up North is Europe's wedding conference, and I've been working on that for 10 years this year.
Wow. Yeah. And we started, so I started Young Married in 2010, and that's when you started Filosophi.
That's right. Yeah.
But before that, we were talking about that before cameras were rolling, you went to school for arts management. What did you do?
So I went to school like most people do, not knowing what they want to do. Right. I was taking philosophy, finished normal school, and then went back for a degree or a diploma program in entertainment management. Okay. I worked in the music industry. Yep. I kind of did it all. I packed T-shirts that were ordered online for bands, and worked on some festivals like Lilith Fair, which was the resurgence of a festival from the 90s, which was all female artists.
Is that still running? No.
But I was working in that space, love music, am a singer. Right. That's been music's a big part of my life, so I thought this makes sense. But quickly realized that is a big, dirty grind to try to make it work in the music industry, behind the scenes. And it just wasn't filling my soul. But I had been working summers while I was in college, and even once I was at the record label I worked at, working for another planning company in town, Dream Group, one of the OG planners in Vancouver, as like a wedding day assistant, and then
so like a side hustle, weekends, doing your thing.
Yeah, just doing a bit of stuff in the summer because it was fun. And then from that, I'd kind of gotten a taste of the wedding industry. So when I became quickly dissatisfied with the music industry path I was on, I thought maybe weddings is a better place for me. It's definitely a lot more fulfilling, more room for creativity.
And people love you when the night's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
a little more appreciative.
That's what I tell people. They're like, why do you be a wedding planner? It must be horrible. I'm like, no, it's literally the best.
It's
like,
the dopamine.
Your client like loves you after.
Yeah, I realized that with officiating, like how much dopamine I get from doing a wedding, because you're in a beautiful space. You get to curate this amazing event. You get to curate these amazing feelings.
Yes.
And then, people are very grateful and kind and excited and complimentary, and, they're on top of the world. They're saying, I love you, and making these promises. And then you're like, oh, I got to facilitate some of this, right? It's very rewarding.
Yes, absolutely. It's unlike any other industry. I mean, maybe if you're like a doctor and saving lives, you probably get a bit of that too, I'd guess. But it's something that I try to remind myself is like, for me, I'm a wedding planner. I have XYZ amount of clients, and all of my clients are, a client. They're my work, and I love them, and I take each of those very seriously. But if you look at that relationship in reverse, you're that person's one planner or one officiant or one photographer, and the space you take up in their life is quite big and like a big part of this very emotional, important event. So that bond that's coming back at you from them is a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like taken aback by it a little bit, because I don't want to say like they're one of many, but to some degree.
Yeah,
like
of course,
one of
right?
many.
Yeah. How many weddings do you have under your belt? Do you even know the number?
I don't know the number. Definitely over 500.
Yeah.
Because I remember when that happened. So probably like in the 700-ish range.
Yeah, like that's times 2 people for each person. It's like 1,500 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So it's not that I don't love them back, but
of course.
It's a big responsibility to be a wedding vendor, I think, because you are going to be tied to this memory that they're going to have forever.
Do you ever bump into clients that you recognize but you don't remember their names?
It's happened once or twice, because it's been a lot of years now. Like, come on, Shawn, I'm not getting any younger.
Listen, happens to me all the time. I was in Paris.
Yeah.
Like
totally
roaming around the Eiffel Tower, like, Shawn? I'm like, hey.
Hey, you?
Like, you did our wedding. I'm like, oh, okay, yes. Where was it? And then normally if they like tell me where it was,
they'll come back. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then I'll piece it together. But as far as remembering the names, I don't have a hack for that.
I find it really difficult now, because there was a time, like when I started, probably the first like 6 or 7 years, I knew every client's name, even if it wasn't me directly planning for them. If it was another philosophy planner, I knew every client's name. I knew I could probably remember their date and where they were. But as you get older and as those numbers get bigger, it's harder to remember them all. But there's definitely those ones that'll stick with you forever.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you run into someone out somewhere, I can usually like remember something, and I'm not like shy about it.
No.
I'm like, Vancouver Club. Yes, I remember. And they'll remind me
or I'll be
their
like, what's your
name
name again? Right? And we'll start to piece it together.
For you, it's a little different too. Like, we have months and months with these couples. So the ones that I might struggle to remember would be like a day of coordination. Where I didn't have all of those like integral memories together. Yeah. I can't imagine that I would forget the name of a client that I did full planning with for like a year.
Right. Because you've seen like how many meetings will you have with that person? Like countless, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
And just like texts in the middle of the night and all that. So
all of that
they're
comes
seared into my heart forever.
So you're in the music industry, you're dabbling in weddings with Dream Group. You're like, I'm going to branch out on my own. And then did it feel natural? Did it feel scary?
So
excited?
It felt a little scary, but it was also like, I feel like everyone probably thinks this, but it was a really opportune time to do what I did, which was to start a wedding planning company that was focused on working outside of traditional wedding venues. Right. Now, weddings happen everywhere, anywhere all the time.
Yeah.
But 15 years ago, that was not the case. People would use like banquet halls, community centers, hotel ballrooms if they had money. or a restaurant or something like that.
Right.
The idea of doing like a tented wedding in the middle of nowhere was just not a thing yet.
Right.
So knowing what I knew from like putting up, little villages for music festivals and stuff, I was like, we could totally
do this for weddings.
Do a wedding in the middle of nowhere. I knew generators, I knew like washroom requirements, I knew tenting. So I was like, this could totally work.
This could be a thing.
So even if people aren't like totally ready to jump on it, that's how I'm going to like market.
Right.
And that's what we did. We started with like the cure for the common wedding was our original tagline. May or may not still be on our website. I don't know.
Right.
But
and so did you have a clear idea of like, it sounds like it, but like the target demographic, like what you wanted to create in the space? I imagine like when people are getting started, be like, I love planning, or they're really good at it. It sounds like because you had a bit of experience too already, you're like, okay, this is like a need, or like you were seeing a trend and you're like, this is what we're going after, like by niching into something. Did you have this good idea of what you wanted to create?
I think so. Yeah, I think I had the idea of like the type of client I wanted that wanted to do something really untraditional, because I wanted to do something untraditional. Because the reason that I left the initial planning job that I had rather than just go full on with them was at the time that company was very geared towards the hotel ballroom wedding.
Right.
And the industry wasn't as diverse as it is now with just a number of vendors. So it would be like the same florists, the same chairs, the same ballrooms over and over. And I found it like very stifling and boring.
Right.
And I thought, if I think this kind of wedding's boring, there's got to be other people that think that.
Right.
So I'm going to try and just see if I can like catch any people that want to do something cool, because that'll be more fun for me.
Right.
And I wasn't necessarily thinking this is the crest of a big trend.
Right.
I just thought this could probably work and be fun.
Right.
And that type of client, I also thought would be the type who I could, wear jeans to a meeting and just be my normal self. And that was really important to me too. In the previous job, I had to be a little bit more like put on a blazer and be professional. I have no problem being professional, but it wasn't what I wanted in that relationship with putting together this very emotional, personal day. It felt to me like a wall between being able to really get to know the client and be able to do something cool and creative with them if I had to kind of put on airs or put on a front.
Yep.
So it was important to me to get the kind of client where I can wear jeans, I can like say a swear word if it happens.
Right.
And I started to say these exact things in my consults. And that really did start to have me book that kind of client, and then have clients who I'm still friends with many of them.
How did you come up with the name Filosophi?
So I studied philosophy in school.
That,
and I was trying to think of a name. At the time, a lot of people were using their own names, like Erin Bishop Events or whatever.
Right.
But I knew early on that I wanted the company to be more than just me, just from a scalability perspective. And I thought if I named it myself, everyone's going to want to work with me. And I was trying to think of something in the realm of philosophy, which is a big interest of mine.
Right.
But I just couldn't find the thing. And I remember chatting to the graphic designer at the record label I was still in my day job at while I was dreaming this up. And I was like, I love philosophy, but I don't like the word philosophy because it just feels very medical or something, the PH and all. And then he, being a creative graphic design type artist, was like, just spell it different. Now, I will say we were working at a record label called Network Records, but it was spelled Nettwerk.
Okay.
So we were in the right environment to be thinking that way.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, maybe I could spell it different. So he actually went off and whipped up a few different spellings of the word philosophy.
Yeah.
And when I saw the one that we now have, I was like,
and how do you spell it, just for the record?
I like how that looks. Filosophi.
Yeah.
So I've spent my life, as you can tell how easily I spelled that, spelling it over the phone for people or whatever.
Right.
And people saying philosophi or whatever, but I don't care because I really like what it looks like.
Right.
It looks like how I feel about philosophy generally. So
yeah, it's very clever too, because it speaks to unconventional, a little bit different. You have to look twice, think twice. And that's become a trend, right? There's a lot of companies like Element, they spell it LMNT, right? Like this has become a thing now where people take words, spell them differently.
Totally.
Makes it easy to get the domain, I guess.
Right. Philosophy.com. I have it.
You own it now.
But yeah, I just didn't like the PH, and that was how that kind of started. And
so you get this idea, you come up with the name. when you first hit the ground running, like how did you attract your first clientele?
Okay.
Do you remember? Because like you guys had some amazing ads.
Yes.
Early on, like with you and Coco, like they were incredible.
We did, and I have to give full credit to Adam and Kev Photography, who I think now are not Adam and Kev together anymore.
Kev has moved on.
Yes, he's like doing commercial. Adam's like a carpenter, but also
so Adam's moved on. Yeah, Adam's doing photography and Kev's doing his thing.
Whatever they're doing, whatever. It was the most dynamic duo of life. I love them.
Yeah.
I had met them while I was working in the music industry. So I went to them, and I have to give them a lot of credit for that idea generation or brainstorming. But the first thing I did when I decided, okay, I'm going to make a go of this, is quit my day job and got a job as a dog walker.
Okay.
And I did that because I needed to pay my rent.
Right.
But what I needed was a job that I was going to get paid acceptably and not have to take home at all. Because when I was still working in the music industry, I thought I could kind of cross the two things over, but that job was very demanding. And when you're starting a business, you need like mental space above all, but you also need money. And I happen to like dogs. I happen to like being out in nature.
You just like animals
Someone
in
suggested
general.
It.
Yeah.
So I had this, $25 an hour job, which was pretty good at the time, to go pick up dogs from rich people's houses, go walk in the endowment lands out by UBC.
Yeah.
But it was amazing because I could also like think about work stuff while doing that job, and then go home and do work stuff on my business. So I did have that like little buffery job to help with the bills. And then I just it was actually my dad who was like, if you want to not dick around with this, do a full page print ad and do it yesterday. Figure out where people are looking, and I was like print ads are really expensive, Dad. And he's like, this is the one thing I'll do for you. So bless his heart.
Wow.
Paid for a full Wedlux page. It is like the fuggliest ad you've ever seen. This was before I even had a logo or like any photos, but whatever. We just put a full page in. It was just text and like a bit of graphics that my friend helped me with. And I would love to find that now to see how bad it was.
No kidding.
But it was a full page. It was a big, expensive page. But to my dad's point,
and those was it like $5,000, $2,500, something like that?
I think it was like $7,500, like
in 2010
years ago. Yeah. So this is like the luxury magazine that people actually like physically looked at the time.
Right.
And my dad said, it's not even about the brides. It's kind of like announcing to the rest of the industry that you're here. And I was like, I don't know, but like that's a lot of money, and I could probably do a lot of other things with it.
Is your dad an entrepreneur?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Go Dad.
So he did that.
That's a good vote of confidence. That's great.
Yeah, and I honestly think that was like a big thing because I think other vendors read that magazine, and there's just a certain like legitimacy to like being in it, even if you're paying to be in it. I don't know. People just sort of like took me seriously when I started.
Well, it's a serious move, right? Because you don't take out an ad like that unless you're here to play.
Yeah, it's true.
You're like you're like, oh shit, okay. Like they're here.
Yeah,
here we go.
I hadn't thought about that until like we talked about this like for years now.
Right.
But yeah, that was a thing.
But still, imagine that, right? Imagine you're a new planner coming up. And you're like, you want to get started. Okay, take a full page. Like you are announcing to the world, like.
I don't know what the equivalent of that would be in like today's world because
print is still around.
Different, but yeah, it is still around.
Yeah.
But you'd have to do something very splashy to sort of make yourself known in the industry that you're here and you're serious.
Right.
But that was a big help for me. And people, I did have some connections already from my previous planning kind of days. But yeah, then And
at the beginning, it's you.
It was just me at that point.
It's you at that point.
Yeah, I was probably courting Corinne, who had worked at the other planning company, to come and be my
also known as
assistant. Coco, yeah. To come and assist me on some wedding days. And I can go do a little sidebar here. So the very first wedding that I booked through Side One. So we launched the band and my wedding planning company at the same time.
Okay.
Someone knew someone who was in the band, and anyways, I'm getting sidetracked because the second client that I ever booked was through a friend of mine, and that was when I asked Corinne to come and assist with me, and I had hired Adam and Kev to shoot the wedding.
Okay.
And that's when Coco and Adam met.
Yes.
Fell in love.
That's right.
Yes. But yeah, in those early days, I guess my point was it was a lot of like letting my friends like through Facebook like know this is what I'm doing now. And then, you know, if one of their friends is getting married, they're like, oh, I know a girl.
Right.
And I ended up, that first like full plan that I did was a good friend of my like roommate I had in college. So it was just a personal referral. She was like, Erin's great, it'll be great.
Right.
And I did that wedding. And then like all weddings, as you know, one leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, because people recommend you.
Well, and you also have the content now too, right? Like, here's what I did.
Yes, exactly. You start to build your portfolio.
And Instagram was kind of just 2010, maybe it started?
I joined Instagram in 2014. So maybe I was a bit like behind the curve there, but
it was,
I didn't have it
I
yet.
don't know, it'd be interesting to find out when it started.
I only had Facebook at the time that we started the company.
Oh man, I don't remember the last time I went on Facebook.
Yeah, my like Instagram feeds onto my Facebook now, and has for years, and like my personal one, so I don't really go on it much either.
Yeah.
Until I got into horses, because there's some good horse shopping to be done on Facebook, I'll tell you.
You're part of a few horse communities?
A few horse communities, yeah. But it was Facebook at the time.
Yeah.
So that was what I did.
And then it trickled. Mm-hmm. And then so Corinne comes on. You guys...
I think we did that first summer together where she was assisting me on weddings. Yep. And then the thing happened that I hoped, which was I got booked for a wedding, and then I got an inquiry for that same day. Right. And then I was like, Coco,
you're in.
Yep. She's like, absolutely. Okay. So then from that point on, we did not work weddings together anymore. We both were leads, and I had to find other assistants for us for the day.
And you continued on with your ad strategy too, because you guys had some pretty sweet, I remember the ad with the lion.
Yes, that one was iconic for sure.
Super iconic.
A little bit controversial.
I don't know if we'd be able to put it up, but it was like this.
I can send it to you.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
But yeah, it was like Corinne and I dressed as lion tamers. Yeah. Like she had a whip, I had a chair, or vice versa. And then this lion with like a veil on, and we're like taming the lion. And we did get a bit of blowback because people were like, oh my God, you're calling brides bitches. Like, how dare you?
I thought it was awesome.
But I was like, no, it's deeper than that. It's like we're taming the wedding.
Right.
Like, we have this unruly beast, which is wedding
planning. A little bit of controversy is not bad.
Right? So I was fine with it. But I love that photo. And it definitely,
it's such an iconic one.
People remembered that.
Yeah, and that was like a full, I remember seeing that in Wedlocks.
Yeah, we had to do that full page, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my dad really set me up for an expensive life after we did the first one. I was like, I can't go down to half a page now.
No, you can't
so I
go
guess
down.
I'm putting my whole ad marketing budget into this one magazine.
And then you just kind of took off here in Vancouver, right? Like,
yeah, it did. It got busy fast. It was like the first year or two was manageable, and then just word of mouth, I guess.
You grew your team.
Yeah, grew the team. The team has sort of, the size has fluctuated over the years.
Yeah. How big were you at your biggest? Do you remember?
I think there was 10 of us, 10 lead planners.
10 leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus all the assistants.
And that was really hard that year. Like those couple years where there was a lot of us. It's just the quality, like everyone doing things exactly the way I would want them to be done becomes harder to sort of keep an eye on, you know?
Yeah.
And not that like the quality dip necessarily, but there would be the odd like client like disagreement about something. Or like assistants and lead planners like having incidents. It was just more going on. And I found that like really tiring. So when people stepped away because they're like having a baby or whatever, I was like, I'm fine with that. I'm not like aggressively trying to grow this team.
Right.
Right now today, I have like 6 other girls who can take a wedding.
Right.
2 or 3 of them who could do a full plan, and the other ones doing.
And a lot of your team's been with you like a lot of years.
Yeah.
Like Shirley's been with you.
Yeah, Shirley and Margot.
Yeah.
Margot, we figured out the other day, like I think she joined us in like 2012.
Yeah, long time.
So super long, and Shirley not long after that. Yeah. So they're my most senior for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them have been with me for a long time.
And so was that the plan, was to grow like a big team?
Yeah, because like when you have a business, I think the goal should be passive income. Yeah. Right?
But the challenge being like, you know, I know for me too, like I got 32, 34 people, like is managing that quality, right? But there's an element of letting go too, right? Because like you want it to be its best, but like learning how to empower people to make their decisions and trusting them and letting things sometimes fall, or maybe not doing it the way you would do it, but entrusting them. Like, was that a skill that you had to learn?
It was a decision I had to make, I
Right.
think. But it is hard. It's super hard to to have faith in people. But I was like highly micromanaged in my life on a couple of occasions. So I was very cognizant about not
You were
being
micromanaged on
that.
a couple of occasions.
Yeah, by other people. By other
Right.
people.
And so
I
that's what you
remember
didn't
that
want to
felt.
do.
So I did not want to do that. There's two things I didn't want to do was underpay my people
Yeah.
and micromanage them.
Right.
And because I'd had experiences of that in my past, I probably gave them like a little more freedom than most would.
Right.
But I also think like that's when people like bring their best, when they have like space and
And
responsibility.
a little sense of ownership too, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Like
yes.
when they almost like rise to the occasion.
Yeah. And like I want them to always feel, even to this day, they can come to me with questions, but I'm never going to like monitor their email inboxes and like
Right.
give pointers. I don't know. If people, they'll come to me if they need to know stuff. It's a very difficult job to train though. Like you can't like
How do you train for it? You
exactly,
almost like,
cannot.
there's no experience. Like it's
'Cause
almost like you have to experience it.
Yeah, and it's probably the same with your people too. Like just there's so many variables that can happen
so many.
and issues and pitfalls to watch out for. You can't possibly sit down with someone over a course of weeks or months and prepare them.
No.
They have to be in it. So
Right.
we sort of do like, we definitely will have someone be a day of assistant for at least a season, a full
Right.
season, before we would even think about having them go into full planning, unless they've come from, like we had Erica
Right.
McKetty, who was already had her own company. We brought her
Right.
under the brand. But for the most part, they just need to see a lot
Yeah.
of stuff happen.
You have to
They
do
need
it.
to watch different lead planners problem solve. And then we would have them become lead planners for like day of coordination type clients and put a lead planner with them as an assistant.
Right.
And try to like not
Get
lead,
too involved.
right? Just like be there like you would be for an assistant, but at least you're there if something crazy happens.
Right.
And then, just throw them to the wind after that.
Yeah, the unique thing with weddings is there's no do-overs,
Exactly.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's live,
It's live.
right? As an officiant, it's like you can't get a name wrong.
No.
Like there's
That would
no
be- that would be
erasing.
so
There's
bad.
no erasing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I remember one time I was doing a wedding for a bride, and her name was Geeta, and I was calling her Geeta.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The whole time, all my meetings with her, I called her Geeta, and face-to-face called her Geeta. I get about halfway through the ceremony, and her Indian grandmother stands up, and she's like enraged. She's like, her name's Geeta. Her name is Geeta. And I look at the bride, I'm like, your name's Geeta. She's like, everybody gets it wrong. I was like,
No, it's not
What?
the time. It has to be
what?
wrong.
And so halfway through the ceremony, I'm trying to remember to call
Now
her
it's
Geeta,
Geeta. Yeah.
not Geeta. Oh, I was more, I could feel the
too polite
blood
for her
like
own
rush to my face. I like,
But not your fault, but to everyone sitting there.
but still,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's like as an officiant, that's like the cardinal sin,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like you hear about people hiring officiants botching names, and it's just not something you get to do.
Yeah, I've had a few of those. Like usually like at a church
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah, or the commissioner, right? People who
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting a name wrong. Yeah, but again, like all the things that would come up with a planner, and you got to figure out how to solve them,
Totally. Yeah.
right? Like you guys made that the fanny pack, the vendor fanny pack famous.
Yeah.
But how many times does a bride's shoe break or a strap on a
Absolutely.
dress
Oh my
or
God, yeah. I'm basically a professional seamstress at this point.
right? But it happens.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right, and you got to be like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, right?
And
oh,
I came
know how to
through
deal
a
with
time
this.
too with the fanny pack where it was just full of everything.
Right.
But through the years, I'm like, okay, I need a Tide pen.
Yep.
I need a sewing kit.
Yeah.
I need some breath mints. I
Yeah.
need some Band-Aids. Everything else I need some condoms. 'Cause That's
Yeah.
my number one thing I get asked for at weddings.
Really?
Yeah, and then
That's
everything else can be in the like separate like toolkit in the back room.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely in my bag, I have Tide to Go pen, battery pack, for iPad, that sort of thing. Make sure things don't die. Always have Kleenex in my
Yeah,
pockets.
yeah, Kleenex for sure.
I carry around like those little moleskin for like the people get like sometimes I get blisters and I
Yeah.
wear like very uncomfortable shoes some days, so keep
Totally.
those around. But like
Yeah.
having those things, but those things you just learn, right?
Yeah.
Right? Always have like a backup fake license if people forget their license. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we got to sign something. That happens. People forget their marriage license.
Absolutely. I bet you that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a unique industry. So someone in this environment, this day and age, planning's changed a lot, right? 15 years in, 2010, different environment now.
Definitely.
Someone wants to get into wedding planning.
Yeah.
Where do you point them? Like, do people drop in your DMs and be like, hey, can I take you out for coffee? Like, I want to learn about the business. Like, I've asked a few of the vendors that have been on the show, like, how do you get started? People are like, oh, like reach out to someone. I'm like, are you ready to have your inbox flooded? Like, do you really want newbies reaching out to you being like, let me take you for coffee? Like, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Right? So like, you're someone who you feel like you have a knack for planning.
Yeah.
Feel like you might like it.
Yeah.
You want to do your own thing. Like, where do they go? How would you recommend someone get started?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, there was no like education in the space or like certification or anything like that.
Right.
So I tend to like not value that because I didn't have it.
Right.
But there are courses out there now. So we get a lot of people reaching out who have like done a course and are like interested in shadowing or whatever. But I honestly think like if you want to do a business in weddings or in any industry of your own, you should work for someone else doing that business first.
Right.
Like I just think that is so incredibly educational. So I would be like literally looking for a job, assisting someone doing the job you want to do.
Right.
It might not be what people want to hear when they're feeling like ready to start their own business.
Right.
But I do think that it's a really good way to see what that job actually looks like, how, the financial side of it works. What do these people actually make? What are their hours like? Just like a more realistic look at that job before you like start investing your own money and time and effort into building a business.
Because on paper or on Instagram, it looks one way.
Absolutely.
But when you get into it, you're like, oh.
Might be different. Yeah. And we have girls who
is
come
different.
on as assistants who exit after one season. They're like, okay, it wasn't
Not
what I thought.
for me.
Yeah. Like carrying like 120 chairs from a ceremony to a tent in 40-degree heat in Pemberton with like mosquitoes attacking me. Didn't love it. I'm like, okay, I get it. See you later.
Yeah.
That's fine. So like getting your foot wet in that way. And that way you're not like asking someone to like do something for free for you, like come out for coffee or whatever. That like, I don't even answer those emails anymore. And I sound like a dick, but we get those emails all the time.
Yeah, I get them all the time.
Too many, like, and then you just become like, I can't even answer you all, so why should I answer any of you? It's horrible.
Do you think there's there's courses out there, but you said like, there's really no exchange for the experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could read it all. Same thing with officiating, right? And the interesting thing with officiating is like, you actually can't really practice.
Yeah.
You can learn as much as you can learn,
Yeah.
right? And we get our newbies to record videos and like we watch them and give them some coaching about how to stand and project your voice. You're looking too much at your screen. Like you got to look up more, you got to smile, you got to engage.
Totally.
So there's some things we can train, but then you throw them up in front of, like everyone's got to officiate their first wedding. And there's no real experience for that. So it doesn't really matter. You can take as many courses as you want, learn all the things, but until you're in it, like there's no exchange for that.
Yeah.
Right. So 100%. Like as far as the courses go, like would you recommend someone start with a course or maybe like get a job as an assistant first?
Yeah, I would definitely say like get a job assisting someone.
Right. Then if you want to get the education later.
Totally. Absolutely. Then you can sort of supplement what you've learned with a little more structured info. But I would definitely try to work in the industry. And if you can't get a job, like say you want to be a wedding planner and you can't find someone that's hiring or whatever, work at a venue or for a caterer or just somewhere where you're in the environment, just to get a sense of it. I think it's easier to do that than it is to get someone's time. And then for non-planners, one thing that you mentioned, like the Way Up North event, and I've spoken at it before from the perspective of I'm a wedding planner and I'm going to talk to you photographers, the audience is photographers, about like working with wedding planners. And one thing that I've said for people who are looking to get into photography and they want to work with these planners, they have these planners they see in their area that they like, and I'll get so many emails that are like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm like a photographer in the area, like here's my Instagram or here's my website, check it out, like I'd love to work together. I might look at it maybe, but depends on how busy I am that day. But the ones that have been really successful with me have been like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I've just moved to the area, I'm a photographer, can I have like 15 minutes to shoot you and your dog? I was like, sign me up.
Oh, offering you something of value.
Yeah, so that I can see the work and also get a little taste of what this person is like before I recommend them to a client. But let's be real, I was there for the photos of me and my dog.
Well, of course, it's like the lead magnet, but that's so smart because...
And I was like, he said, I was like, oh, interesting. So then I did look at his stuff and I'm like, okay, he's pretty good. Like, it's not garbagey.
Right.
So I'll spend the time. And he was like, just come meet me at this coffee shop and we'll just walk on Main Street.
Right.
Bring your dog and I'll snap a few photos and we'll chat. And so we did that.
How was
and
friend?
Then she's good. She's so old now.
Right.
She's ancient.
Tripod,
14 years old, near death, but not.
What a sweetheart.
She's so great. She's just like, she's the funniest street dog ever.
Found a way to bring Fran into the conversation.
Blessings. My life was all about her for a long time, so that's good. I'm glad we brought her up.
Is she jealous of Baloo?
She's a good old girl. I don't think she's jealous. No, she's just so like into napping now, sleeping. She's happy for me to be out doing stuff. She comes to the barn sometimes, but.
But again, for that photographer, super smart.
Super smart.
Right? Because when you're asking someone for their time, you're actually taking something from them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And from established professional, right? It's like as much as we want to give away our time and be helpful, we also have our book of clients, we have our team, we have our families, right? It's a lot.
Yes.
But that's very clever.
I thought it was super clever. And it also showed that he had like looked at my Instagram and like found something personal about me because I posted a lot of my dog at that time that to like touch on. Because I have had other photographers be like, oh, like if you ever need headshots for your website or whatever. And that like I never, and didn't bait me in the same way.
Right.
So I thought that was super clever. That was Isaac Sim. I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
But insert a photo by him of me and Francis because he nailed it.
Amazing.
And I recommend him all the time now, like almost every short list.
But then also you got to meet him, you got to see his personality.
And I got to see the photos and I know what I looked like that day. And he like made me look good.
Right.
It wasn't at my finest.
Yeah, he won you over.
Yeah, he totally won me over.
He showed you what he was able to do.
Exactly, yes. And then I feel 100% confident like recommending him to people if they say like, what's he like, or whatever. Because I've spent, would end up being like half an hour maybe with him.
Right.
Yeah, so I thought that was really clever. So vendors, like obviously photography, that's a very specific example, but finding some way into the planners that you want to work with.
The planner, you guys are the rainmakers. You were at the top
of the venues, I think both.
You're at the top of the totem pole.
That's true.
For sure, because the planners are connected with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And having planners know you, recommend you, understand you, offering them something of value is really smart. But again, I know I've heard from other planners, like you're inundated with messages about like, hey, I'd love to be on your preferred vendor list and I'd like you to recommend me. It's like, you find a way to add value to that planner in some way.
Absolutely. Like we do a thing in our business where we don't take referral fees. I know a lot of people do that. But what we do is we just say if a vendor comes to us, like a photographer, and says, hey, I'll give you, $300 for every client that books with us. Right. I'll say, can you just give that $300? That's a discount to my client. Right. Because we charge our client what we're happy to make to do the job. Right. And so it is a big bonus for us if we can say, here's some photographers to consider. This one will give you a $300 credit just because you're our client. Right. That helps our client feel good about what they're paying us. So that's something you can definitely do because I do like that. And I'm sure some planners probably do take referral fees, and that's a big part of the business, especially in the States. So you can do things like that.
Yeah, we don't do any of the referral fees either. And I find
it feels like I don't like it.
I find as an officiant, we're like bottom of the totem pole. Like I booked a wedding last week that's happening in a month. They were like, oh, we were going to have our friend officiate, but we realized it's not that easy in Canada. And so we need somebody. And I'm like, your wedding's in a month.
Blessing.
Like people are not we're somehow still the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Even though it's the one thing that is like the whole reason we're doing this song
I'm the
and dance.
only vendor you actually need.
That's right.
Okay.
That's true.
I'm the 100%. Only person that needs to be there to get you married.
That's right.
But we are like right here. And it's interesting, right? Because people do want to have a family member, a friend, and that sort of stuff. And, it's just navigating those times, right? Yeah. It's just like, that seems to be what the industry wants. And we're trying to figure out what that looks like for us.
Yeah.
how have you seen the industry change? You know, when you started, like you mentioned, like these kind of offbeat remote weddings were not really a thing.
Yeah.
You got into it, and now, you know, we'll do weddings like, we got a few hiking weddings this summer. We're like hiking up, the Chief, or hiking up to Brandywine Falls, and like there's people are so unique. We do the helicopter stuff, which is super cool. But how have you seen it change in the last 15 years?
I think the biggest thing is just the breaking of the chains of the sort of stereotypical must-haves at a wedding, the traditions that people were doing and didn't even know why they were doing them.
Right.
That has absolutely come like full 180, like not a thing anymore. The words like weddings should is like not even on the table. I love that. I'm here for that. I love the more different it can be, as long as it's serving a purpose that makes sense to the couple, the better. Because I like creating experiences for people, like the guests and the couple, that are memorable. And a big key to like memorability is like that it's unique in their life experience. And so being boxed into this like ceremony, cocktail, dinner, dancing, like round tables and whatever, like box, it's very hard to like make an impactful memory within those confines. And so the fact that like the wheels of that cart have just totally come off is way cooler. It's way easier to do something that's like emotionally memorable for people. And it's not to be unique just for uniqueness sake. I'm very wary of that, just trying to be off the wall for no real reason. Some people aren't, like some people
they want the traditional.
And that's also fine and good, but just being able to kind of explore the aspects of a couple where you could do something a little different if it makes sense for them and if they want it, without feeling like, oh, we're doing something weird, like people aren't going to like it. Like these days people expect anything with a wedding. And I love that.
Sometimes you get butt heads a little bit with the parents. It's interesting.
For sure,
When they come in and like, actually, you're sitting on the, no, I should be on this side. I'm like, well, you get to see her updo from the back, but like, do you want to see her face? Because I should really put you on this side, right? And like, I'm supposed to be on this side. We're like, well, we've already arranged it with the couple. We're actually, this is what we have. You know, I often get to be the scapegoat, which I imagine you do too, right? This is the way we're doing it.
I find people like that one a lot. I stole that from you, which is the putting the bride's family on the not on the same side that she's standing so that they can see her face, and vice versa. The moms are like, oh, good idea. I'm like, thought of it myself.
Yes.
And then the other thing that's really changed, obviously, is just the addition of the intensity of social media and how that kind of plays into weddings. So
it's huge.
It's just it's the same as like the unrealistic beauty standards for women is like the unrealistic wedding standards for like engaged couples is a big factor.
Wild.
People don't know how much stuff costs. There's obviously like a lot of wealth in the world, and that wealth like just gets magnified on Instagram. People share the really opulent weddings and luxury weddings, and it sort of skews people's definition of normalcy. So that's tricky.
Did you do the wedding where their initials were hand carved into the ice cubes? Was that you?
I did. I've done that. Yeah, I love them.
Hand carved initials in the ice. Like, come on. I don't even want to know what that cost.
That wedding was an opulent one for sure. But I will say, in defense of that wedding, that couple was like every choice they made was like super intentional. And made sense for them and was cool. I've had not that. I've had people doing fancy things just to like showboat. I always call it like the horse and pony show if it's a wedding where we're like literally just doing this to like impress the relatives or whatever.
An actual horse and pony in the car.
It probably is. But yeah, it's tough when people have to kind of come down to earth on what things cost and also like just be happy working within their budget. I feel like sometimes there's like a bit of disappointment, or at least in some aspects of the decor planning when people have to sort of compromise on cost.
Okay, we got to talk about budget. You bring it the B word. How do you navigate that, right? Because like, as you mentioned, like you can have $1 million wedding pretty easily if you wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so when someone comes to you, you know, and they're like, we want to do all these things, here's our budget. And you're looking, you're like, still way. Like, how do you navigate that conversation with a couple to like help them create something that they want within the budget that they have?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
How do you navigate that?
Yeah. So usually when we first meet with a couple, we don't ask their budget.
Right.
We don't have, some planners will have like budget parameters that they'll only work with, which I
Right.
totally get because it's hard to work with small budgets.
Right.
And also it's a bigger job to work with a huge budget. So
Right.
they want an idea of that before they quote. I don't ask for their budget. We do a consultation to get an idea of scope, and then we quote based on what they're telling us.
Well, so that's a little bit, that's not how I would think it would work. Is that uncommon the way you do it?
I think so. I don't know.
Why did you choose it to do it that way?
So in America, they do the wedding planning fee is like, there's usually like a base amount, a minimum, and then like 10% of the budget of the wedding.
So it's like a realtor.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but
10% on the first 100,000 and 2.5 on the remainder.
Exactly. So it's like tied to the budget, which makes sense because the bigger and more intricate the wedding, the more work it is. And then there's a minimum so that if it's a smaller budget, you're not like...
You're covered.
Yeah, you're covered. But to me, I just felt like the incentives are misaligned in that approach, in that the planner then, as a client, I would feel like the planner's like trying to like sell me more expensive shit because then it's going to make their fee higher. That would be in my mind.
Right.
Like, if I am shortlisting photographers for a client, at that point I will already know, like, we will have done our budget together. But I might throw someone on the list who's like a bit above the budget because I just think they're just such a good fit and worth meeting with.
Right.
If my fee was like tied to that, it feels, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like,
I can
am
see
I
that.
just trying to drive my own fee up? And I
Right.
didn't want that at all. Like, I was like, I don't want them to think anything about my choices and recommendations other than it's what I think is best for you. So there was a time or there have been times where I've underquoted a project for sure. Just based on that initial conversation, flat fee for planning. I'm not going to charge you any more than that unless the scope changes wildly. That's how we still do it to this day.
Right.
So we've done enough weddings now that
But that's a learned skill. You got to take a few
Yeah.
L's on
You
that.
got to take a few L's, and also like even now, we still are gonna take a few L's on like a really high maintenance, like didn't see it coming situation.
Yeah, there's some brides I
We're not
have
gonna-
like 15 meetings with them.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you're going to have a few of those, but then you're also going to have some that are like so lovely and easy that it kind of balances out.
Yeah.
So keeping that cost like competitive enough means you might have a few where you're like, God, I'm not making enough for this
Right.
shit. But I think as a client, I would like that from a planner of like, here's what it costs. It's full service. There's not like stuff getting added on later. And it doesn't change based on any of the decisions I make for the wedding. I don't know. I just feel like that'd be nice to have that nice firm number that you know what it is.
Yeah.
Like anything else, photography, etc. So that's the way that we do the pricing. I can't remember what got us in this part of the conversation.
You were talking about budget,
But-
and it just,
budget.
that always
yeah.
blows my mind when I go into these weddings that you do, and spaces are like transformed. Like I go into the Vancouver club. I did one there, I think with Corinne a while ago, and I was like, what? I was just so blown away.
Yeah.
Oh,
was it like Liz and something?
Liz and
Liza.
Liza.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big transformation.
That
Yeah.
wedding was crazy. And I just remember, like, it just blows my mind. I'm like, how does this go from an idea to reality?
Yeah, it definitely costs money. So we usually start with a budget meeting and we talk about everything they might want for the day.
Right.
And I always say, like, let's go blue sky off the bat here. Like,
Right.
if you think you might want it, let's put it in.
Right.
And literally it's like a line by line, like chairs, like table linens,
Right.
candles. Obviously, being the first thing we do, you don't exactly know what the vision is going to be for decor and stuff like that. So it just comes with time that you can get good at throwing numbers into those lines, knowing
Right.
roughly what it might cost based on what they're talking about in the budget meeting or before. I get them to show me some photos of like the scope of decor that they like that they're envisioning. So is it like a lot or is it super minimal? And a picture is worth 1,000 words. So that can help me kind of put those numbers together. So I'll go through 9 times out of 10, the number at the bottom will be more than the client wants to spend. I do a fun game of like, guess what we're at?
Right.
Make them guess, because we're doing everything. Like stamps on invitations is a line on that thing. Like shoes, like comfy shoes for later when you're dancing, second dress for later, like hair and makeup. Everything to do with the wedding is on there. And we talk through it all hour and a half, 2 hours. Like we don't get into too much detail, but it's pretty overwhelming about everything meeting. And then I get them to guess, and sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But it's usually a number that's bigger than what they want to spend. So then I say, okay, I'll send you this spreadsheet, digest it,
give me your musts,
come back to me and either say, here's the number we have to hit, period.
Right.
Or we've looked through it, Erin, and we want to prioritize this and this, like food and music. Let's bring back decor or whatever. Can you give it a pass pass it over and give it a revision?
Right.
So usually people will give me a number they'd like to hit, and then I'll go through and revise, and just everything is pliable in a wedding for the most part.
Right.
And I'll go through and make revisions and make notes on what I'm revising and where. And then we just play that game over and over until we get to a place where they're happy. But it's important for me to be really clear especially if I'm reducing in decor, like what that means, what that looks like, sending some images for like idea of the scope of like the size of the centerpieces or whatever, so that they get it. So that as we move through the planning, we get to decor, and I'm talking with the florist in front of them about the vision, they're like, we're all on the same page.
Right, you're all on board together.
Choices that we've made.
Right.
And of course, they can make choices to overrule their previous choices
and
spend more money
things
later, which happens.
Yep.
Yeah. But we start with that process to get a good idea of what things cost. It's still early enough they can adjust their guest numbers, because there's
always little checks and balances you can tweak, right?
Exactly.
Dials you can dial up and down.
So that they're not committing to too much before knowing what that whole picture
Have your friend
looks
come
like.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Save you $1,000.
Love it.
Yeah. That's what I also think too about officiating. I'm like, aren't we like the cheapest vendor you're going to work with, you know? Mm-hmm. So when you think back to starting out, what's some advice, like 15 years experience, you've been in the industry a long time. What advice would you give to yourself as like new planner, new business, first year in business, but now, you have all this 15 years experience. Like what advice do you give to young Erin who's getting started?
I mean, I really enjoy the path that I took. I killed myself for the first probably 8 years of this business. I would just say like all of the grind that you're about to undertake like will be worth it.
Right.
It will be worth it.
What made it worth it?
I think just the satisfaction of like this body of clients that I have now that have had these, like, I don't know, just so many good memories and experiences. Obviously financially, I got to like where I wanted to be. And of all the things I could have done with my life, I never planned to be a wedding planner, but I love the life experience that I've had. And also I've been able to shift from that like 24-hour grind mode.
Answering the phone in the middle of the night.
Not seeing the inside of an office ever.
Right.
Being able to go ride my horses in the middle of the day whenever I want, for the most part, and just having full control of my schedule. I think I was really built to be an entrepreneur in that way, like a consultancy entrepreneur where I don't like 9 to 5 it.
Right.
So I would tell myself like it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And also like that the most important thing that you should guard is your reputation, the reputation of the business. And even when it's hard and you don't want to answer someone at 2 a.m., just do it. Because it's just putting points in the bank, man.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
How important do you think your vision and your goals were to your success? Eric and I talked about this in a previous episode where we were saying like we had this goal with our businesses. It was never to like build a giant officiating company or to be an amazing photographer. It was always like we wanted to take our kids on a big trip, right? So that was like the goal that inspired us. Right. So for you, with your goal of like kind of building this company and like the lifestyle business that you're building, like how important do you think that was to get through
the harder times?
Those 7-8 years of just grinding away. Like, did you have like a clear vision? Like, this is going to be worth it. Like, this is where I'm going. Like, keep going. You're going to get there.
No, not at all.
You didn't?
I think I'm like very unusual as an entrepreneur in that I like never made a business plan or like, I hate that side of it.
But you must have had some kind of intrinsic goal or vision about what you were running towards.
I wanted to own a business and not be worried about money. I guess that would be my thing. Like I had been in college and like working in summers and working
Hustling.
in a restaurant, you're just trying to make your rent and yada, yada. And like, I can't, like my family was very comfortable financially. And my dad had always said to me since I was a young kid, like, own the deal. And by that, he just meant whatever you're doing, like, own it. Like, if you're, don't work for other people.
Right.
And he's like, obviously you're going to have to work for other people a little bit, but I think he really wanted me to own.
Right.
He spent a long time in his life working in like a stockbroking firm where he was like making money for other people. And he found it like highly
making
offensive.
more money for others than he was for himself.
Yeah, exactly. Before he like went out on his own. So, I knew I wanted to own my own business, and I knew I wanted to not have money stress. So I guess I had a goal in that way, but really, I just really like being really good at things.
Yeah.
Some have accused me, until I took up horseback riding, of only doing things that I was pretty sure I'd be quite good at, which is true. Like I knew I was a bit musically inclined when I did music, and the planning thing, I don't know, it just suited me and I was good at it. I took up painting at one point, like watercolor.
Yeah, I remember that.
Dog portraits, and I was like immediately good at it. So it was like a safe zone, but I like crushing it. I don't know. I like crushing it. And I was like, I think I can crush it with like creating a brand.
Right.
It just was fun. It was fun in itself. The building of a business and getting to be the decision maker. I liked all of that part of it, as well as the fact that it was in weddings, which I also thought was fun.
Who is this line of work not for?
I would say like people who really value their work-life balance, because I think this industry doesn't always give that to you.
No.
Especially in the beginning.
Evenings, weekends.
Yeah, it's just it's that industry where our clients like work on their wedding outside of 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So you need to be like absolutely down with that. I personally love that because in the summer I can go to the beach on a Tuesday afternoon and it's not full of people and I'm like, the luxury, it's amazing. Yeah. But some people want that, especially if you are a person whose partner is in a 9 to 5. I've seen a lot of my peers in the wedding industry struggle if their partner's a 9 to 5 and then they're on calls in the evening and they're working all weekend and there's ships in the night. So I would say if you are like with another person who is entrepreneurial, or if your partner does not have to work or whatever, like that's something to think about. Because I do think the thing that makes a lot of people burn out is that untraditional schedule and just lack of boundaries. It's just not an office job. It's not a professional office thing. So if that sounds good to you and you'd like to maybe like go for a hike in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon instead of be at a desk, but you're willing to then be on a Zoom call at 7 p.m., it could be good.
And work till what time in the morning?
God knows.
Yeah, exactly.
I grinded hard for like a while there.
Yeah, no, you guys are hustling.
I was up late at night and always working, but I loved it. So I don't regret that. That period of my life I'll always remember as like the big grind. And Rob too was side one. He was my boyfriend at the time. So we were doing that same hustle
grind
together.
Side by side.
And that was also super fun because we could like celebrate each other's successes. And it was
I can imagine how hard it would be if you had a partner with a 9 to 5. Like, I don't know how Eric and I would have done it if we weren't on this journey together.
Totally.
Because again, like when I'm working on the weekends and I'm gone all day on Saturday, well, she's gone too, right? It's like a trade-off. And I think for us with kids, you know, we would take long vacations. So like 3 weeks off in March, 3 weeks in the summer, and we would get our concentrated family time then, because other than that, like the weekends are burned up.
Yeah. They're not your weekends anymore.
So what's next for Erin? What's next with Filosophi? You got side one, you got way up north. Like, do you have some big goals on the horizon? You already said you don't really set goals, but like, what are you working on creating right now? Are you enjoying the downtime?
I'm definitely like enjoying the time where it's my entire like persona is not about my job anymore. And I think that's actually giving me like new life in the job too. Because I'm limiting the amount of clients that I work with, it's that much more fun to work with them, which I'm enjoying. So I'm loving that. What to do with Filosophi? Yeah, it's hard now because we live in this world where everyone is like being unique and special and crazy. And so I've often thought, do I need to like come up with the next like pivot or plot twist? But I don't like to do anything that like feels forced, you know? Yeah. So I think I'm just going to keep doing what we do best, which is, you know, trying to find unique ways to deal with weddings. Yeah. But it is in the back of my mind, like everything I've done in life sort of happens very organically. And because I am in the horse world now as like a student and competitor, and I see a lot of like applications of event planning within that space where I'm like, oh my God, these people need help. And dear God, it's a world with money. Like people have money in that industry.
Right.
It's a grind all over again for me to just like be a part of it.
Right.
But I do think I have thoughts in my head about events that are like in the horse world, in the like show jumping
like a Thunderbird
world.
Arena.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I did a bit of work with them on like decor in their VIP area. And I'm just like, there's so much possibility here. Like there's so much missed opportunity for what events in this world or even just planning in this world could be like. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if I like sidebar into some like equestrian stuff with my event planning skills as well. But philosophy, we're just happy doing weddings, loving it, and continuing to sort of bring up fresh young blood. I think that's pretty important. Not that me and Shirley and Margot are so old, but we do often comment how like we're friends with the moms now, more than the brides.
Yeah.
You know, we're not getting any younger. So I want to keep sort of cultivating the young blood who will have, you know, newfangled crazy ideas probably about what to do with weddings. And just sort of, like I said, way back, get into a passive income state where, you know, we let the kids go out and run the weddings and collect some money and enjoy the fact that you've built something that will allow you to do that. Yeah.
It's amazing. What do you think is any real trends or things you're seeing in the industry? Like, where do you think it's going now? It's interesting, right?
Yeah. I don't know. So I think like this year for us is quite slow. I know that's not true for everyone, but being a vendor that is not necessary. I know you're the necessary vendor.
Right.
We're one of the probably least necessary, us. And sometimes I think videographers get chunked into like the wish list.
Yep, they do.
But if I can't afford it, I can't afford it. Much more so than like a photographer. Right. We're kind of like a luxury add-on. And so I think when the economy gets a little bit weird, we definitely see like a bit of a dip because people with money are being a little more conservative. And I know videographers also get that as well. But I also just think like people don't necessarily want to spend their money on a big lavish wedding as much as they did maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. There was like a big boom of like to have a big party and like do a thing. And now people are like into like authenticity and like
seeming
real
much more
moments
boutiquey.
Yes, boutiquey.
Like smaller,
that's the right word.
Like still luxurious, but instead of 200 or 150, it's 50.
Yes, and I love
that. Or it's 30.
I love it. It's hard to charge as much for something like that. But I actually really like that. So COVID did really open up the world of the micro wedding or whatever you want to call it. And as somebody who, like I said before, wants to create these really memorable experiences and memories for people, I love that because I think there's so much time in a micro wedding for the couple to actually like have experiences with their guests and interactions that are more than just, hi, thanks for coming, goodbye. I really like that. So that's something that I get excited about. A wedding under 100 people is my jam. Yeah. Under 60, absolutely. I'm there. I'll do it twice. Right. Yeah. I love those little ones. They just they're so fun and calm and.
Yeah. We've developed a new saying within our company that we want your wedding to feel better than it looks.
Nice.
And that's really,
that's a great one.
It's really resonated with our couples because I think with the age of Instagram and social media and all the clips, everything is about the way things look.
Totally.
But how does that going to curate the feeling of the day? And I heard you talk a lot about this, right? About like, you can do showy things for showy's sake, horse and pony. Yeah. But there's other things that will curate a certain feeling, right? Like having when Adam and Kev would do their photo booths, their portraits, which were just like, that was such a vibe.
Totally.
Right? That created a fun, playful environment, right? And so pointing couples to lean into the feeling elements and then allow those feelings to drive their decisions, right? Because if I write a wedding ceremony for someone that is elegant and romantic, well, that's different than if you want a wedding that's lighthearted and authentic.
Totally.
Yeah. What's the vibe you're going for?
Yes.
Right? And we want your wedding to feel better than it looks.
Totally.
And I think that's a great place for couples to suss out what's really important to them rather than the look, but just like, what vibe are we trying to curate? What type of experience, intimate, right? Authentic, romantic, elegant, brand. Totally. All those words go into that and then can drive the decision making.
It's so true. Yeah. And it can be also like in the formula of the day. Like, were you at Coco and Adam's wedding?
No.
Then you weren't like,
No.
didn't know them well enough yet. It was quite a while ago.
No, I was booked on the weekend.
Oh,
yeah, because
I officiated
yeah,
their
that's
wedding.
right. Yeah, I married them.
Yeah, you did it legally.
I legally married them, and then you got to do the officiating.
But one thing that they did that I've since stolen, in fact, I have a wedding this year that's doing it, is they had a cocktail hour before the ceremony.
Oh, I love it. I've done a few of those.
I love
it's
that.
The best.
And when you suggest it to the right client, they're like, oh my God, that makes
Why haven't I thought of this?
Why would we not do that?
Yeah.
And they're the couples at the cocktail hour.
Everyone's hanging out. People are like,
to mingle.
when are you getting married? Like, in a bit.
Let's go get
we'll
married.
Get married in a bit. And then you gather everyone around.
Exactly.
I love the pre-cocktail hour.
Yes.
Breaks up the day.
Totally.
No lull. Puts everyone at ease. They're mingling. They see everybody.
Have a drink or two.
Right? And then it's like, okay, grab your drink. Come sit down. We're going to get married now. People are like, oh, this is great.
Yes.
Like, it just...
And that's such a tiny, like,
shift.
change.
Yeah.
But it's also like monumental to the feel. So the more of that stuff that can go on.
Love it.
In my like career, people have come around much more to like the food station style dinner too, where it's a mingle.
Yeah.
Which I feel like as long as you have enough seating for everyone to sit down,
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
So just like little sort of structural or like format things that you can change about a wedding will make it stand out, but it has to be a way that makes sense for the couple. Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming on.
That's it. Sweet.
That was great.
Loved it.
Thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully I'll get to see you. I don't know. Sometimes I see you and we'll see you when I see you.
We need to have a wedding together.
I know.
Think I have like, I only doing like 8 weddings this year.
Yeah.
And I think I have 2 like religious, like a rabbi and a priest. Yeah. And then I have 6, my friends marrying us, and we're doing the commissioner signing the paper before.
Yeah, cool.
Is it great? Ask me after the summer. I've had some really good ones, but I've had some that were like,
send them to us, because we have a signed, sealed, delivered, and like a custom script option where we'll sign your papers. And then we'll write you a script like we do for all our big couples, right? Do the whole interview process, write them a super authentic script of who they are. And then we spend an hour
with their officiant,
with their friend who's officiating. Here's how you stand.
Okay,
Here's how you put your hands.
Okay. I didn't know you had that like ready to go.
Yeah, it's up on the site. It's ready to go. And we're selling a lot of those because, again, like as much as I want to officiate your wedding, I want you to have the wedding that you want. And if you have a family member friend that's willing to do that, able to do that, great. Yeah. There is a learning curve that will make it go that much better and will really give you a wedding that feels like you, that's not written by ChatGPT.
Yeah, totally.
And that will take people through those feeling words to make sure their ceremony can be what it's like. So yeah, we'll chat.
I like that. Okay. I have a few that I will send to you. Okay. Because I worry about those people.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, please. Okay, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for listening to the Friendors podcast, the podcast by wedding vendors for wedding vendors. I'm your host, Shawn Miller, signing off. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to us if you would follow, subscribe, and perhaps share it with a fellow wedding vendor who could use some inspiration or simply a good laugh. Want the Friendors podcast to come to your city? Drop us a comment below and let us know. Until next time, keep learning and keep creating amazing weddings that feel better than they look. See you in the next one.